indeed, it's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight, Sting's retirement match against the Young Bucks. Seth Rollins defending the title against Jinder Mahal. We saw Smackdown. We're watching Rampage. We're doing the thing. It's Friday night. Let's get Johnny in here and start the show. Yes, indeed. I am ready. I'm pumped. Johnny's here. Johnny! How are you?
Not too bad. I just got a pee in right before the show, so pretty happy, pretty excited. I don't have to hold anything in, so I'm all yours.
Nice. Always good to do that before the show. Always good
Transparency.
To get one in before the show. Yeah, I mean, I think that's
good.
too much information. I don't think that's transparency. I think that falls under too much information. You're also really close up tonight. You feel like, hold on, I think our team is going to fix it. I just feel like you're really zoomed in. I think our team is going to unzoom you. There you go. We're just unzoom. We're doing away. We're doing something.
Fall
to
into
you.
the void.
We're going to adjust you because you look a little zoomy. You look a little zoomy. So we're going to fix Johnny. There you go. That looks a little more normal. There you go. Fixing Johnny. I like how we can do it on the fly as we do the show. We got a lot to talk about here tonight. I want to give a shout out to Lior, to Jimmy James, Angelo Contagonis. Johnny, what are you saying here as I'm talking? What are you?
I'm still moving around here.
That's nice.
Still shifting a little bit. It's good that Angelo came back from the hockey game already. He's done. It's fantastic.
What happened?
Awesome. Laval won.
Laval hockey. Le Rocket. Congratulations. We've got a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, the Royal Rumble is now 2 weeks away. 2 more weeks of TV. We're getting ready. We're almost there. Makes sense.
Yeah, we're getting there. Almost.
Johnny and I had a bit of an argument over who's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. We were arguing over Twitter in GIF form, or GIF, if you pronounce it the other way. I don't know. I say GIF.
I like GIF.
You say GIF? I say GIF too.
I like that peanut butter. They don't make it anymore, I don't think.
I don't. I go with the Kraft.
Yeah, that's good too.
I like Kraft. It's good. Make a lot of PB&Js. Anyways, not really for me. My son is like really into PB&Js these days. He's like, every meal he wants one, but it's got to cool it, you know. Once in a while, eat a steak, man. Take it easy. Anyhow, 5-2 win for the Rocket, Angelo says. Congratulations. Shout out to all the members joining us here tonight. Jason Pete, as well, is here over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net to support the channel. Go check out our website, ringsidereport.net. A lot of great content on the website. And, of course, here on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and so on. We're on all the things.
Thanks.
And, of course, Twitter. Big Twitter controversy this week. Well, not really a controversy. Just a weird thing that happened. With the game Triple H, John. The cerebral assassin. What are we talking about? What are you talking about?
I think you should start from the beginning of the whole thing. The Triple H thing happens as the thing goes on, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the most important part because it's about me.
No, well, lead into it, though, because it's part of the story.
Well, I don't really know the story from the beginning. I think I caught it halfway through when Tony Khan was going off about Jinder Mahal for some reason, which was super weird. So I can get the tweets. We can go back. Did it start with Tony Khan or did it start with the USA Network?
I think probably the USA Network, or maybe it was actually WWE on Fox, because they were bashing the Jacksonville Jaguars for not making the playoffs.
Okay.
Because they didn't make the playoffs in the NFL.
Okay.
And I think they kind of used that Kurt Angle meme, I think. You know, with him just that weird face.
Yeah.
When they did make the playoffs. That started, I think. And then USA Network did another thing that upset Tony, and then it just went from there. I think then he replied to them, I think, off that. And then everything blew up. And then Triple H responded to you. Kind of. Or liked you or something.
Right. So I guess we can go back. This is a tweet from Raj Giri, who says, these guys do have history. Seth Rollins defeated Jinder Mahal in the tournament finals to become first NXT champion.
Thanks.
Okay? Because people were apparently upset that Jinder is getting a title shot at Seth next week on Monday. Right?
I understand that upsetness, yes.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's a Raw match. Who cares? And then USA Network goes, what was the cage match rating? So this is
right.
A shot, I think, at Tony Khan, who was talking about cage match ratings at some point. Right?
In the media scrum for World's End, yes.
He was saying how, ratings, whatever, we're really happy about the reviews and our cage match ratings. Now, explain to me, Cage Match is a website and they rate wrestling matches, right?
Well, not just that. They list wrestling matches. Like most of my wrestling history is on Cage Match. You can check me out at Genesis Johnny North or even Johnny North on Cage Match. Just look me up. I'm there. You can see all my matches, or a good chunk of my matches. Not all of them, but a good chunk. But it's a great website for wrestlers and their history.
Yeah, it
matches.
is. It's a great resource for people that like wrestling, too, to kind of go back and see who did what when, right? It's great. But they have a rating system, and I guess Tony Khan was bragging about how AEW's matches were highly rated, whereas WWE's were not so much.
I mean, hasn't this always been the way with the internet? Like, didn't AEW get more 5-star matches from people than
right
WWE has, historically so far?
But does any of that really matter?
I mean, depends who you like or listen to, I guess, Depends what personality you believe should be giving those ratings. I don't remember you giving any 5-star ratings. Where's yours? I believe yours is on 10 for pay-per-views. That's about it.
Yeah, I rank pay-per-views as a whole. I'm not trying to rank every match, rate every match. I'll tell you what was a good match and what was a match of the year candidate. To rank it and to give a star rating. It's an opinion. I don't think it's necessary. I have never put any amount of stock on anybody's star rating of a match. If Dave Meltzer says a match is 5 stars and I saw it, it doesn't affect me. If Dave Meltzer said a match is 5 stars and I haven't seen it, I may go, oh, well, Dave Meltzer and a bunch of other wrestling people are saying this match was good. Maybe I'll go out of my way and check it out if it was in some promotion that is obscure that I don't usually watch. Right? But for the most part, when these guys are reviewing wrestling and they're telling me what rating they gave this match or that match, I go, so? I either agree or disagree, but the rating doesn't really affect me. I guess wrestlers put a lot of stock in that. I don't know. You tell me, you're a wrestler. It doesn't seem to mean anything. Dave Meltzer's star ratings. A lot of wrestlers seem to put a lot of stock in that, and promoters even put a lot of stock in that. But it's just one man's opinion of what is good in a pro wrestling match. Who cares? He's one guy. He doesn't make a difference. He doesn't put more than one ass in a seat. So, I don't understand why wrestlers and promoters, I understand why fans, a lot of fans don't want to watch all the wrestling, and, they come to guys like us and they want to know what's going on and they want to know what's good and what's bad and what our opinions are, and we offer a little entertainment on the side, and Johnny North is muscular and handsome, so we have that going for us, right? But
it helps.
But a star rating, whatever. Cage match rating. I don't know, for Tony Khan to go out and say, well, our cage match ratings are excellent. You go, who cares? Why are you talking about this as the owner of AEW? Why does this matter? Tell me your building is sold out. Tell me you got a great new deal on your TV. Tell me something that a promoter is supposed to tell me. Tell me something that matters. Don't tell me about what a website gave you, because I don't care what this website gave you, because, another website said your whole show was garbage. So how about that? That doesn't count? So the reviews from Cage Match or Dave Meltzer, those matter. When Jim Cornette is, like, destroying your whole product, irrelevant. I mean, there's good reviews and there's bad reviews, but you can't live and die on your reviews here. It's not going to cut the mustard. So Tony Khan is hung up on some weird stuff. So he says this in response to a tweet that he's not even mentioned in, by the way. This Cage Match rating tweet was directed at Raj Giri, not Tony Khan. But Tony Khan sees this, takes exception, and says a moral victory for USA is one win more than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has in the past 364 days. What does that even mean? Because it's been literally a full year since he won a match. Moral victory for USA Network is one more win than their world title challenge. A moral victory. So they had a moral victory? Anyways, you really put AEW in our place, getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on your TV show. Do it more often. So Tony Khan here is salty about Jinder Mahal getting a title shot. He's like apparently dozens of wrestling fans on the internet that were mad that Jinder Mahal is getting a meaningless title shot against Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Who cares? I don't care. John is probably mad about it. John looks upset.
Not upset, but
who cares?
I don't disagree with the logic of it. See, my issue was, like, you didn't need to really blame Jinder for this. It's not his fault. It's just the way WWE books their thing, where it's like, we'll just take someone who's kind of relevant now, and we'll just give him a title shot out of nowhere. No build up or anything. Just was on TV before, so he's around. We'll just put him in a title match because we need somebody to help boost up Seth's title reign, which is coming to an end soon, but we got to add another defense in there. So it just kind of feels like it's meaningless and pointless. And why have number one contender matches if you don't even have them anymore? You just give title shots like it's meaningless. So that's my gripe about it. But apparently Tony already put the gripe on there, so I don't have to gripe about it. Again, it's not Jinder's fault. It's WWE the way they book their things. Like, it should be a number one contenders match instead of just Jinder gets the shot right away.
I mean, it doesn't. It's one match. Seth will win, and then it'll be done. What is it like? It doesn't really matter, right?
You're going to have championships. I mean, you should build towards contenders for your championships. I mean, then the championships don't mean much, but just anyone can challenge for them, no? Especially your world championship, which is supposed to be your main title for Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
You earn that shot?
I mean, he got into a physical altercation with Seth Rollins on Raw, so Seth wants to wrestle him. I mean, Macho Man defended the WWF title against Repo Man. So, what are we talking about here? There's been some weird WWE title matches. This isn't even the real belt. It's the World Heavyweight belt. It's the Raw belt. Should be defended on Raw more often against random guys like Jinder. Who cares? I just don't see why people are getting so upset about it. Because I just will either not watch or skip to the end or whatever. Like, it's not a match I need to see. It's not a match I'm excited about, but it's also not a match that I'm going to go, why are they doing this? the world title is so prestigious. It has such meaning. They created it like, what, a year ago? Less.
No, actually, no, it was a year, wasn't it? Or roughly?
I don't know.
Well, we're getting close to a year, actually. It was in June, no?
The belt means nothing. The matches mean nothing. Jinder means nothing. Seth means nothing. It's all meaningless, this stuff on Raw. Like, if it was Jinder getting a shot at Seth on a pay-per-view, I'd say, at the Rumble, I'd be like, okay, that's ridiculous. Why is this happening? But Jinder getting a shot at Seth on Raw, like, why is anybody mad? It's Raw. It's one TV show. You know how many episodes of Raw they do? Like, it's every week, man. If you don't like it, watch the next week. It'll be different. Jinder won't get a shot again. It'll be one and done. The match probably won't even be that long.
No, I think
and for Tony Khan, like, I get it. Some wrestling fans are like, why world title? Like, I get why you, Johnny North, will be like, why is he getting a shot? This doesn't make sense.
Right.
But Tony Khan is the owner of AEW, and he's tweeting about this when no one's even asking him. No one says, hey, Tony Khan, what do you think about Jinder Mahal? No one said that. USA Network tweeted to Raj Giri, and Tony Khan goes, why is Jinder Mahal getting a title shot? And then he doubled down with another tweet. So he's worked up. He goes, a double standard. Hook, 28-1 career record on winning streak, calls out the champ. A logical challenge sparks online outrage. So apparently people were outraged that Hook is getting a shot at Samoa Joe, which Tony Khan tweeted this before the match was even announced on Dynamite, which was odd. So how are people having the out? I mean, Hook challenged Joe, but there was never a match actually announced. Hook challenged Joe on Collision, but they never actually announced a match.
Right.
And I didn't see a ton of outrage about that, but apparently Tony Khan was feeling the heat because a logical challenge from Hook sparks online outrage, according to the owner of AEW. Jinder has literally lost every single match he's in for the past year, immediately gets title shot. Where is the rage? Also, did Jinder really wrestle in the past year? I feel like he had those guys wrestling, and he was mostly their manager. I don't think Tony Khan's been really paying attention to the product. But also, why is he just dissing Jinder so hard? And why is he so concerned as the owner of AEW to be tweeting about this, to be getting involved in this, to be doing all this? What is this?
Well, I think the rage comes from the fact that there were shots taken about his team getting eliminated, and then they're making fun of him about how the way he talks about the cage match ratings. And he probably felt like, you know what, they want to take shots, I'll take shots back. Again, I had no problem with it. It's just, I don't think Jinder needed to be bashed. Like, you can bash WWE's logic and the way they book things, but I don't think the wrestlers needed to get bashed. It's not Jinder's fault that he got the title shot. It's the way WWE wanted it. He shouldn't have to be like, oh, he's a horrible person for it. And people turn it that way too, which is terrible.
But he never said that, though. Tony Khan never said anything bad about Jinder necessarily. He just said Jinder has lost all the matches he's been in, which that's just the way he's booked. He's talking about the booking of Jinder. He didn't say anything really negative about Jinder, just saying that he was upset that Jinder, I mean, he did kind of take a shot at Jinder right, in this one? I guess he did.
I felt it was.
You really put AEW in our place getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on your TV show. Do it more often. I mean, that's a shot for sure. Yeah, he took a shot at Jinder.
Jinder replied back, too, to that.
Yeah.
And then it just turned into a big war after that. And that's on Tony there. That shouldn't have happened. That was unnecessary.
Well, Jinder tweeted out, who's Hook? Right?
Yeah.
And then Hook, I don't think Hook wrote anything.
He did actually.
No, it was a
Yes.
fake hook. That wasn't the real hook.
Or was it a fake?
Yeah,
Oh,
Taz
okay.
confirmed that the real hook didn't tweet anything. Taz was like, "That's not
Yeah,
really Hook."
but Taz wrote back, and then I think FTR got involved. Like a bunch of
Really?
wrestlers got involved in this whole situation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Goodness.
There's a bunch of things that so many people got involved, and it's like this one was completely unnecessary. It's just tweets and people getting mad about this. I mean, it's kind of fun just to see that, like, it's like, oh, WWE versus AEW, like tweets, but it doesn't really go anywhere, so it's not really anything great off that. But at least you had some fun off of it because you got something out of it. Which I think you're leading to.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that was it was I mean, I don't really know what happened with that. I'm not sure what exactly went down, John. We could try and figure it out. So Tony Khan was mad.
Theories.
So I tweeted out this. Why is Tony Khan so mad at Jinder Mahal getting a title shot on TV? No one cares. Why does he? I mean, I didn't know you cared, but I felt like no one cares about this. I wasn't seeing people on the internet going, "Whoa, this is outrageous that Jinder's getting a shot." I wasn't seeing that. But Tony Khan, like, the first person I saw saying, "Why is Jinder getting a title shot?" was Tony Khan. It wasn't, other people that I follow, wrestling people. It wasn't that. It was Tony Khan, which was odd to me. And then it got even more weird because that tweet that I posted got a couple likes, and then I looked in my mentions, and there was a like. Hold on, where can I?
I remember I liked what you
liked it. You like it. I wonder if I can go into the. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do I'm trying to hack my own Twitter, okay? I'm trying to do detective work here. Oh, I don't think that notification is still there. Unless it is. Let's see. I've got to go back. I'm going way back.
Oh, 5 days? That's going to be a lot of tweets.
Yeah, I can't find it. It's like maybe it disappeared. But I took a screenshot because it was so shocking. It was really strange. I have it here somewhere. All right, here we go.
Big build up here.
I know. So I tweeted that about Tony Khan, and then I see this in my mentions. Triple H liked the post, and then I clicked on it, and he didn't like the post. It was like unliked. So what is that? Did he see it, like it, and then unlike it? Is that Triple H's way of going, hey, I see it, it's funny, but I can't actually like it publicly? Like, what is that? Or did he accidentally, tap on it because of his giant hands on a little phone? But did he actually see it? What is it, a glitch in the system? What is that? Because it's really Triple H. Because if you look at it, it's his username, it's his profile picture, and I know you could have fake ones like that, but the fake ones that like the tweets usually don't unlike them. They stay liking them. So I feel like it is the real Triple H liking this tweet about Tony Khan being mad at Jinder, which I think is funny. I'm going to choose to believe, Johnny, that Triple H just liked it, but he can't. That's just his way of saying, ha ha ha, without actually leaving that there, because then people would see it because your likes are public. I don't know.
What?
I'm taking it as the game telling me he likes it. So I like you, Triple H. Like you right back, buddy. That was good.
I think it's one of two things. Like you said, accident. He didn't mean to push it, but he pushed it by, he saw the heart and pushed the heart by accident. And maybe he read it, but didn't fully read it. He just saw like the first line or something. He's like, oh, that's funny. And then when he reread it, he's like, oh, no one cares. That doesn't sound good if I like that. Oh, I better unlike that right away. I'm thinking that could have happened as well. Because sometimes you just read stuff, like the first time you read it, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then you reread it, and it's like, wait a minute, that's actually not cool.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happen with him.
He doesn't like a lot of stuff on Twitter, though. He doesn't like random comments. Like, if you look at his likes, it's mostly just WWE stuff. So I think he may like and unlike things a lot. Who knows? It may be a thing he does. Who knows? It may have been a total mistake. It may have been fake. I'm not really sure. But it was strange. I was like, Triple H likes this? Me making fun of Tony Khan? I thought that was funny. Like, why wouldn't he like that? That would be a thing that he would like, right? People making fun of Tony Khan. Triple H is definitely making fun of Tony Khan all day. I mean, maybe not all day, but it happens. I'm sure he's making jokes. There are jokes to be made.
To me, that clearly goes to show you that they were definitely monitoring the situation, checking it out, seeing what was going on, and looking into it and seeing what new was developing. And your tweet probably came in there somewhere when they were looking for it, just looking for tweets, and yeah, you got in there somehow, which is a nice story for us now to talk about.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's funny. Triple H, the game. I mean, Tony Khan is really the one, if any match is controversial, right? It's not Jinder and Seth. It's not even Hook and Samoa Joe. Because, again, it's on a throwaway Dynamite. It doesn't have a lot of weight to it. The controversial match right now for AEW is Sting's retirement match. That's the match that people are saying, well, why is this happening? I've been seeing people commenting like, why isn't Sting wrestling Darby in his last match? Why is it Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks? That was made clear at the end of Dynamite this week. It will be Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks in Sting's final match at the Revolution pay-per-view in March.
Okay.
I personally like it. I got no problem with it. But I saw people, even you, Johnny, you were like, oh, no tag titles on the line in this one. Like, you wanted the tag titles maybe for Sting and Darby to be on the line. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It's just a match against the Young Bucks. And I think, there are a lot of people out there that do not like the Young Bucks and do like Sting and are disappointed that this is Sting's final match. The Young Bucks are a polarizing tag team right now in professional wrestling. A lot of people love them. A lot of people hate their guts. Hate everything they stand for and want them out of AEW. Want them out of pro wrestling, some people. So for them to be Sting's final opponents, I think is a controversial move for AEW, for pro wrestling. But again, I like it. I get it. Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, who's plugged into that whole group, this was Sting's choice, and Sting wanted to wrestle the Bucks, and this is what he wanted for his final match. So if it's Sting's choice, it's Sting's choice. And again, I'm good with it. I don't know what people expected. Did you expect Sting to wrestle Flair? Did you expect Sting to wrestle Hogan? Did you expect Sting, Darby, and Luger against another trio? Like, I don't know what people wanted from this Sting retirement match, but it's the Young Bucks. They're a huge tag team. They will have a very good match with Sting and Darby. I have no problem with it. Works for me.
Yeah, like I see how it works a lot, and it makes a lot of sense because Sting and Darby, to me, that's what the match needs to be, a tag match of some kind, because that's what Sting's whole AEW career has been. It's been teaming with Darby. It should end like that too. Why do a singles match? Like Sting's clearly comfortable in tag matches. A singles, like, that might not be that good. And for the last match, I think you want it to be the best it could possibly be. And the way Sting's going with tag matches, that's the way it needs to be. Now, for the Young Bucks, I think they're one of the best teams you could possibly have for this match because, one, I think Sting and Darby have wrestled almost every tag team there is already. I mean, they even kind of wrestled the Bucks already in a multi-man at Forbidden Door a couple years ago, if not mistaken. So even that, like, they have history, but at least it hasn't been done in a tag, so that's fine. I just feel it's going to be the main event of the show. If it's going to be the main event, why not have it for the tag team titles? I'm just saying, I don't mind if it's the Bucks. I'm just saying one of the teams should be the champions going into the match. So before we get to Revolution, either the Bucks or Sting or Darby should win the tag titles.
Don't the Bucks have a title shot at some point? Like, didn't they win a match?
They lost that shot. They lost that shot to Kenny and Jericho.
Kenny and Jericho, yeah. And Kenny is now out, and Jericho is cashing in that shot with Sammy Guevara tomorrow night on Collision against Ricky Starks and Big Cass. Battle of the Belts, because they're doing a 3-hour Collision tomorrow night, which Correct. I may watch a bit of, but there's UFC, so we'll see.
Okay.
But, yeah. The Bucks against Sting and Darby makes sense to me because Sting and Darby have been teaming the entire run. Sting hasn't had a singles match his entire run in AEW. Sting and Darby are undefeated as a tag team. It works for me. I know Jason Pete is saying, like, he would have preferred, like, a one-on-one. Angelo wanted a one-on-one. Jason Pete wanted against, like, a legend. And I think that would have been cool. Like, Sting against Christian, I think, would have been cool as a final match. Sting and Edge, maybe.
Christian, though.
Yeah, yeah. But not one-on-one.
Yeah, but he's only good in tags. Like, one-on-ones wouldn't be that good.
Yeah.
Tag is the best way to do it.
And that's what I think we have to realize is that, you know, a dream match, final match for Sting one-on-one is just not going to happen. That's not his AEW run. He hasn't had a single one-on-one match ever in AEW. He's always teamed with Darby or Darby and other people. So
right.
It makes sense to end it on a tag. Why change the formula now? Like, I get it, and I think you're right, too. I mean, the guy's 64 years old. To carry a singles match is different. One of the reasons why Sting's matches are so great is because Darby Allin does crazy stuff every time he's out there. So,
well, and Sting too, though. You gotta give Sting credit, especially this week.
Yeah, I mean, Sting tries to match it, you know, and you could tell Sting's going out because he's given everything at the end, and he had an incredible match in the main event with Darby. Angelo wants to know who wins the match. Who wins? Sting, Darby, or the Bucks? I think if it's non-title, even if it is for the title, I think Sting and Darby. I think they win.
Because the thing is now, they have the streak now. If they don't have the titles, it's all about Sting and Darby never lost. So, I mean, if it's just a streak, yeah, they shouldn't lose, in my opinion. That's the way it was. They were just undefeated. It should be for the titles because it's ridiculous they never got a title shot if you're 27 or 28 and up, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they fix this before March 3rd.
They could. They have time. I don't think Jericho and Sammy Guevara are going to be the tag team champions here.
I mean, you never know. I feel Starks and Big Bill, to me, like no matter who they face, if they have a tag team match at Revolution, it's not going to be bigger than Sting. So to me, it makes sense for them to drop the titles in the meantime, at least.
We'll see. I mean, but why would Starks and Big Bill have a big match at Revolution?
Well, that even if they would, I mean, will it be bigger than Sting? Like, I highly doubt it. I mean, Sting's clearly going to close the show, right?
Yeah, but why drop the belts? Like, why would that need them? You know, why do they need to drop the belts just because they're not having a big title defense at the pay-per-view? Doesn't matter.
I mean, this is the main event. It's the last chance you could have Sting and Darby as tag team champions.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you're right. I think it would be good to put the tag belts in that match, but I just don't know if they'll do it. And again, but I thought you were saying having Jericho and Guevara win the tag belts. Like, that seems to mess up everything. I think if anybody's going to drop or take the belts off Starks and Big Bill, it should be, Sting and Darby or the Bucks before Revolution.
Well, it depends. It depends, though. Because say Sting and Darby are going to be champs going in, Starks and Big Bill make sense. But if Jericho and Guevara are champs, I could see the Bucks beating them. So the Bucks get revenge on Jericho for taking the title shot.
It's complicated.
It's not that complicated. Like, March 3rd is still far away, so you can make it happen.
It's too many switcheroos flopping around. This guy and
it's
that
not
guy.
That much. One switch after the switch will happen Saturday. Not that big of a deal.
So you do one switch in January, and then you do another switch before March, and then you vacate the titles in March?
I'm saying if it's a title match, though, I think it changes things, though, a bit. Like, say the Bucks are the champions. I don't think the Bucks should lose them, actually.
Okay. I don't know. Jericho, okay, so Sammy Guevara and Ricky Starks had a good match on Dynamite this week that Guevara won. Ricky and Sammy shook hands after the match, but then Big Bill jumped Sammy from behind, and Ricky and Big Bill started beating up on Sammy Guevara. Chris Jericho's music hits, and he comes out with a baseball bat, and he makes a save, and he hits a terrible, terrible code breaker on Big Bill, just awful-looking thing, and then drop kicked him off the apron, and then they were brawling in the crowd, and Jericho's music is playing the whole time.
He's New Jack now.
Now, I believe that they were playing the music to avoid boos because they were worried, because he hasn't been seen really on TV since the pay-per-view where he got booed mercilessly. He hasn't been seen in front of a crowd since that crowd just hated on him big time. And I think when they sent Jericho out, they sent him out with the music playing the whole time so that, I mean, first of all, the crowd, no matter what, the people can't help sing the song. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, even if the people that booed him at the pay-per-view, they were still singing the song, and then they booed him because they can't help it. Judas in my mind. Like, they love it, right?
You're forever a face with a song like that.
Right. So if the song's always playing, they never get a chance to boo you. But it can't play during the match tomorrow. Sorry, go ahead.
Whoa. Don't be surprised. They make it like a Street Fight or something. So then they can play it the whole time.
Oh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What match was it in AEW?
It was Anarchy in the Arena, if I'm not mistaken.
Where they just played Wild Thing over and over and over again, like it never ended, right? It was like 20 minutes.
It did end.
Eventually,
it did end because they attacked the singer, right?
Oh, was that a live performance that was happening?
Yeah.
And they just jammed out on it for so long, right?
Yeah. That's what happened, yeah.
That was horrible. I was like, when is this band going to stop playing? That was the worst. And then when they did stop playing, it kind of felt quiet because you were used to them playing for so long during the match that when it finally ended, you're like, this match is missing something. Like, what's happening? You know, it was weird. There was like an adjustment period. It was bad. It was really bad. They better not do that for this match. Just play Judas. Have Jericho's band out there and just have have the band Fozzy playing the song and have the crowd sing it while they're doing the match. Although the crowd does not know all the words. Once you get past the first verse, I think they kind of tune out. So I don't know if that'll work. I think you need a Jericho track on there or something. We'll see what they do. But Ryan Katz says the story has died down, and he's right. The story has died down. So I don't think he's going to get booed out of the arena. He's going to be wrestling also in Norfolk, Virginia tomorrow night for the Collision Battle of the Belts taping. It's not the same crowd as Long Island, New York.
No, yeah. It's not New York, Philly kind of crowd, no.
Yeah. They're not the same level of ruthless, plugged-in wrestling fans. But AEW does draw that type of fan.
Also,
we'll see.
Collision usually a smaller attendance, probably only like 2,000 or so. So
yeah.
You wouldn't expect it to be that rowdy, but it's happened before.
Standalone Collision taping too. Live Collision tomorrow night.
Well, wow, live Battle of the Belts. That's actually better. Actually, like I don't mind Battle of the Belts, but when it's not live, it's not good.
I don't even know what they're doing tomorrow. They got the tag belts on the line.
The tag belts. I want to say A. Kingston's doing something, but I can't remember exactly.
I just saw FTR and Daniel Garcia against House of Black is happening. I don't think that's Collision, for belts. Yeah, it's just Collision. Yeah,
they might do, because they kind of built it up a little bit, the Acclaimed against the Bull Club Gold, maybe? Yeah. They kind of hinted that on Dynamite.
Orange Cassidy is going to defend the international title against Preston Vance.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's not going to be anything special, but all right.
How exciting. And Julia Hart will defend the TBS title against Anna Jay. Yikes.
Okay, well, can't wait for that tag team title match.
Give me a reason to tune in. I guess Jericho and Guevara. I think Edge is going to do an open challenge. He's doing open challenges on Collision, so that's something.
I think that's great for the roster. Like, I think it's fantastic. I liked it last week with Griff Garrison. Like, I think that's a great, simple idea.
Who the fuck
it's
is
more of like,
Garrison?
Yeah, a great, elaborate squash.
Yeah, it was all right, but it was like, I don't know. It's fine. Edge is getting some reps in. I mean, he's letting some young guys wrestle him. You know, some guys that would never get the opportunity to be in the ring with Edge get to be in the ring with Edge. Yeah, but that's what it felt like. It felt like, you know, come here, kid. Let me teach you some wrestling stuff. Teaching Griff Garrison, and for some reason I had to watch it on TV. Match had no heat. The match meant nothing. You knew Edge was gonna win. It was like, all right. Edge is squashing this guy. How long can it, like, is he going to do that every week? Is it going to be different jabronis that he just beats up? It's not that interesting.
Well, open challenge, I mean, it's just random things that will probably lead into something, right? Eventually, then a bigger person comes in, and it's like, that's the person he'll feud with. So the open challenges are just small things that lead to something big.
Yeah. I don't know what it's leading to, but you know, I don't think he's done with Christian and all that, right? That's still going on.
Well, he said it on Collision, like regardless what Christian might think, because he is a former champion, he does get an automatic rematch. So that will happen one day.
That's a new rule.
That's always been AEW.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not everyone actually uses it for whatever reason, but they do have that rematch clause.
Some great matches on Dynamite this week. They plugged it as AEW's Homecoming. They were in Jacksonville at Daly's place, so they went out and did a big show. They had Hangman Page beating Claudio Castagnoli in the opener after a couple of buckshot lariats. Just excellent match. Hangman Page is so damn good. Claudio is so good. I don't think they've ever wrestled one-on-one before. I don't recall ever seeing this match before. It felt like a fresh matchup.
They did.
A what?
Didn't they do the Elite against Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah, like but brawl? I mean one-on-one, I'm saying. Claudio versus Hangman in a wrestling match? Seems like a first. And it felt fresh. It felt like, oh, cool. This is a cool match. Two guys that are very good at wrestling just having a good-ass wrestling match. Hangman wins in the end. I like the push that Hangman's getting right now. I'm a big fan of Hangman. I think he is the heart and soul of AEW. And everything he does is great. All his matches are excellent. When's the last time Hangman had a bad match?
I feel like he had it. Well, actually, to me, that was a match with the Bucks. Remember when they were the ROH Trio champions?
Okay.
I think they faced the Dark Order. Not the Rampage match, but on Dynamite, I think they faced them.
Okay.
Not great.
Okay, how about this?
You said it back then.
How about this? Switch the question. When's the last time Hangman had a bad singles match?
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't think of one off the top of my head, no.
That's what I'm saying. As far as like a singles wrestler, he's one of the best in the world. World Championship level pro wrestler. Hangman Adam Page. And all his matches seem to mean something. He beats Claudio, and it means something. Because Samoa Joe cuts a promo and says there are changes now about how you get a title shot, and you have to submit your application and your resume to the championship committee, and they will decide who is the number one contender. And I go, what the hell is this guy talking about? This guy's the new world champion. He won it a couple weeks ago. He shows up on Dynamite for the first time as the champion. He's wearing a suit. And he's like, there's a championship committee, and whoever they decide, that's who I will face. And I go, who's on the championship committee? Is it Bryan Danielson and the people that fired CM Punk? Like, what is this championship committee? That was a weird one. The Joe promo, all that stuff about you got to earn your shot and I'm Samoa Joe and then you get beat up by me. I don't know. But then Swerve came out, which was great. And he was staring down Samoa Joe and he says he's going to take the title from him. But then Hangman comes out. And Hangman says he is going to take the title. And in 2024, he's going to be world champion. And then Swerve and his friends, Nana and Brian Cage, they all leave. And then Hangman hangs around for a bit, and he's like, I'm going to take the belt from you, Samoa Joe. And then Hangman decides to leave. And then Samoa Joe is done, it looks like. But then Hook comes out, and he walks around the ring a couple of times, doing his best mean guy face. And then he gets in the ring and he stares at Samoa Joe. And you go, Hook, son, I think you got yourself in over your head here. Like, just the size of Joe, the size of Hook, you go, I don't know about this there, Hookster. But then Hook goes 1 week. And apparently Hook is going to get a title match against Samoan Joe next week on Dynamite. I can't recall Hook ever losing a one-on-one match on TV. They say he's 28-1. What's the one?
Remember when he lost to Moxley?
Not really.
It happened. It happened though. I think he got choked out too by Moxley, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so he'll lose to Moxley and he'll lose to Samoa Joe, and then he'll go on wrestling Brian Keith and so on.
And he lost to Jack Perry. Maybe they're talking about the Jack Perry loss too.
Wasn't that unsanctioned FTW something?
See, that's where I'm not sure. Like maybe, but he's lost at least twice that I know of.
Well, Tony Khan says he's 28-1 and Jinder Mahal sucks, John, so I don't know what to tell you about the stats here. But
well, I think this is why Joe said that whole like there needs to be like a championship committee thing. I think that was kind of in response to that.
What do you mean?
How in AEW, like they go through the whole process of determining the next contenders instead of just handing them out kind of thing, you know? I think that was kind of a shot almost as well.
Like he was kind of saying how he was kind of defending Tony Khan, kind of reiterating what he was saying about having to earn title shots in AEW, not like just get him randomly. Oh, yeah, was he saying that? Was he doing that?
Feel a little bit, yeah.
That's some real company man bullshit, man. I'm not feeling that so much. Ugh. Who's on the championship committee? Portier Concierge says, the Marx Brothers? I don't think they're alive anymore, Mr. Concierge. I think the championship committee is comprised of Tony Khan and Britt Baker, Adam Cole, the Baby, Chris Jericho, and Bryan Danielson. And they decide everything.
I think you're right about Danielson. I think Jimmy Jacobs has a lot of say now.
Jimmy Jacobs, the Baby. So. Is he the Baby too?
Not as much as Adam Cole, but
Adam Cole, the Baby. Yeah, he's good. This promo was super boring this week. Some of these AEW storylines, I go, like the matches are good and all, but some of the stories, like, I like Swerve, Hangman, and Joe. I think that's one of the main events, if not the main event for the pay-per-view triple threat. Like we were talking about last week. Weren't you saying you didn't think that was going to happen? And I was like, oh, they're for sure doing that. That's the match to make, right?
I said, like, we don't have to do that right away. But you're like, oh, we can do it at the pay-per-view. I'm like, we can build towards that. I said for Double or Nothing. Have that. But we're going to Revolution. Fine, okay.
Oh, yeah. What else would you want Joe to do at Revolution?
Well, wrestle Hangman 1-on-1 first and then make it a triple threat.
Yeah. I think you got to involve Swerve. He's beaten Hangman so many times. If you're going to do, sport-based whatever with the records counting, you can't give Hangman a shot over Swerve. Swerve keeps beating Hangman.
Well, it's clearly what they're doing now, right? It's going to be a three-way.
I like it. I think that match is going to be tremendous.
But it won't be the main event, though.
I think it might be. I mean, I don't think Sting needs to be the last match on the show. Flair's retirement match wasn't the last match at that WrestleMania, was it?
Not the WrestleMania, but he had a whole show for his actual last
Yeah, but
match.
that was not really a last match. That was nonsense. Like Flair's real last match at WrestleMania, that didn't go last. I don't think Sting's last match goes last. I think the world title goes last. Samoa Joe goes last.
We'll wait and see, but to me, if given where it's going to be in North Carolina, like Sting's the bigger draw. I think Sting. To me, people aren't going to care that much if you have Sting go on and then there's a match afterwards. It's going to be a dead crowd after that.
I think it's going to be hard to have a dead crowd for Joe, Swerve, and Hangman. It's going to be big. I think it'll work.
We'll see.
I think it'll work. Do you think Joe, Swerve, Hangman has the potential to be as good as Samoa Joe's best ever triple threat match against, of course, Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles? Matches that were unbelievable. The series of matches that those guys had against each other during that time in TNA wrestling. If you haven't seen them, I'm going to give them all 5 stars. How about that? Go back and watch them. Dave Simon's reviews, not Dave Meltzer, giving all those Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles matches 5 stars. Go back and watch them. They were incredible, especially the triple threat that they had at some event. The first time that they had a triple threat, I remember anticipating it going, this is going to be crazy. Like, these guys are all nuts. What are they going to do? And the match was, I wonder if it holds up. I'm sure it does. It was so ahead of its time. It was nuts.
I think it depends which one. I mean, the first one, more than likely, which I think was TNA Unbreakable, I think it was 05. But then they had another one, because the first one was for like the X Division title, and then they had another one for the world title, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I remember it being good, but not as good.
AJ
we'll
Styles,
see. I don't know.
Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, triple threat match, X Division title was the main event of Unbreakable 2005. You are correct. That is.
Yeah, but I forget when the world title match happened though.
Yeah,
because they wrestled again.
That first one,
they
though.
tried to. Yeah, the first one. Yes, the first one is the one everyone should definitely watch, and it'll be tough to top that.
I want to watch that again. I will watch that again soon. That match was great. So good. 2005, man. That was a long time ago. Samoan Joe is an excellent wrestler. I don't know if Hangman and Swerve can have a better match with Joe than AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels did in 2005, but I think they have a chance of rivaling the match quality. Because Hangman and Swerve right now are just on another level. Joe is still incredible. That match is going to be very good. Tony Khan will get all the great cage match ratings for that one. I hope it translates into sold pay-per-views for AEW. I may mock Tony Khan and his nonsense Twitter stuff, but I fundamentally want AEW to survive and thrive and do really well and be very profitable and continue to push the wrestling industry to do better and to compete. I like that AEW has existed and made the WWE much better. Much better. If AEW doesn't exist, CM Punk probably never goes back to wrestling. He's in WWE now. Thank AEW for that. Cody Rhodes becoming a megastar for the WWE. Thank AEW for that. Competition, guys getting paid more, A lot of great things have happened because AEW has existed, and I hope they continue to exist and do really well. And any wrestling fan that wants the death of AEW, I just go, come on. You're not a real fan of wrestling because you don't support the wrestlers. Because if you really supported the wrestlers, you would want billionaires investing in wrestling and giving wrestlers more options and more money. I think if you're a wrestling fan that doesn't want AEW to survive, you don't really care about the well-being of the performers, and that's kind of messed up, given how much they give and sacrifice of themselves and their bodies. Pro wrestling is a vicious, violent game, and I think wrestling fans should be supportive of the wrestlers and of the wrestling companies. You want them all to survive. You don't have to watch them all. You don't have to say they're all great or everything they do is awesome. But at the end of the day, you want them to survive. I don't agree with everything WWE does or AEW does, but when they come to my city, I'll go and I'll buy a ticket because I want them to keep going, and I like their show. Fundamentally, I like their shows, but they're not perfect.
No, we saw that in December, without question. Both brands, actually.
Yeah. WWE, it's got some holes. AEW's got some holes. We talked about some great stuff on AEW Dynamite this week. Hangman Page and Claudio Castagnoli, excellent. The Hangman and Swerve and Joe interaction, really good. Sammy Guevara, Ricky Starks, really good. The Sting and Darby Allin match against Will Hobbs and Konosuke Takeshita, also very good. But there was some stuff there that was just there. You had a couple eight-person tag matches that were Brody Lee tribute matches that really, it just kind of took up space on the show. I didn't care. You had Edge, Goldust, Orange Cassidy, and Preston Vance beating the Gates of Agony, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage, and I go, it was what it was.
Got to throw a flag on this one. So why is Preston Vance in the Brody Lee tribute match when he turned on -1 the last time they were together?
Really?
Like, I searched it, could not find it. There's no promo that explained that whatsoever. They didn't post anything about that. All they did, and this didn't make any sense because they said -1 booked the matches, and then Excalibur was saying on commentary that, Tony Khan's trying to make Preston Vance more of a good person instead of a rule breaker. And it's like, did -1 book the matches? Like, the logic, again, doesn't make any sense for this. They're just putting stuff in there because they want to do it, but they didn't think about storylines for this one whatsoever.
I thought Preston Vance was in the whole Roosh Ingobernable thing.
Well, he came out with the manager, but still, he's on the face side, whatever, because it's the Brody Lee tribute match, and
yeah,
they're like, oh, he's a protege, even though he broke up with his son, but whatever.
Yes.
Threw the mask down and everything.
And they announced this at the beginning of the show. Anna Jay and Preston Vance are the proteges of Brody Lee who we're honoring tonight, and they are wrestling tonight. And you go, oh, they'll probably win their matches. And then they're in these stupid 8-person tag matches, and you're like, oh, yeah. And then Preston Vance gets the win for his team, and you're just like... And now Preston Vance is getting some sort of title shot against Orange Cassidy at the Battle of the Belts thing that he won't win. It's just like throwaway, nothing. Didn't even feel like part of the show. And then you have Anna Jay, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, and Thunder Rosa getting a win over Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Ruby Soho, and Saraya. Saraya just there. Anna Jay got Sky Blue to tap out for the win. Sky Blue's getting a bit of a push. Anna Jay is not really. I know she's going to get a title shot now against Julia Hart because of this win, but
yeah,
come on, man. I honestly, I didn't have a problem with the other match because none of those guys, Gates of Agony, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, none of those guys are getting a push. But Sky Blue, AEW is starting to do something with her. And there she goes tapping out to Anna Jay, who's just come out of nowhere, gone nowhere, done nothing. They're actually trying to do something with Sky Blue, and then they just have her lose on TV when Ruby Soho's right there. I guess they don't want to have her lose. They don't want to have Saraya lose, because that's real bad for her. And Julia Hart is a champion, so I guess Sky Blue was the one that had to lose to Anna Jay, but...
Yep.
I don't think that was a great move when you're trying to make something out of Sky Blue. AEW has started to do something with her, and it's kind of working. And then you go, yeah, let's just have her beat by Anna Jay in this random tag match. I don't think it does any favors for her push. I'm not the big Sky Blue fan going, oh, Sky Blue, but it's just like, you really want to do that now? You want to stop that momentum now?
I don't think it stopped any momentum whatsoever because, she is the lackey for Julia Hart.
I
so
guess.
if you beat the lackey, you kind of get the title shot. That's the way it kind of seems to work. She beat Abaddon, beat Sky Blue, she got a title shot. So it's kind of the way it works.
All right. And Roderick Strong beat Brian Keith on Dynamite this week. And then Adam Cole cut a promo about the Undisputed Kingdom, and he talked about all the guys. He says Roderick Strong is the greatest pro wrestler alive, and he's a future AEW International Champion. So calling a shot there for Roderick Strong, going after Orange Cassidy. Okay? And then he says Taven and Bennett are the greatest Ring of Honor tag team champions of all time. And then he says Wardlow is a monster, and when the time is right, we are going to win the AEW championship. So they're doing the Batista story with Wardlow again.
Yep.
Again. They did it with MJF, and now they're doing it with Adam Cole. And they're telling you they're doing it because first promo they do all together, Adam Cole's like, and we are going to be AEW champion because I'm going to use Wardlow to do my bidding and get me the belt. It's
Yep.
fucking lame-ass promo. Lame-ass direction. Tired story that Wardlow has already done. That, by the way, I'm calling the Batista story because Batista already did it. So it's not only a goddamn recycled story from Wardlow stealing from Batista, it's something that Wardlow himself has already done. He's already stolen it from Batista, and now it's happening again. They're using it. He was MJF's backup, and then he turned on him like, you're using me, and they're also doing it with Luchasaurus and Christian, by the way, the whole Batista turning on you thing.
That's different, though, the way that
it's more of a Kevin Nash. It's more of a Diesel Shawn Michaels, I think, with Luchasaurus and Christian.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? You're
better,
with me on that, right? A little better. Well, for sure better. Way better. But the Adam Cole Wardlow thing is just so Batista. And he's done it before, and they're setting it all up, and he told you everything they're planning on doing, and it's lame. It's lame. You do this whole long story, you screw over MJF, and then MJF isn't even around to get revenge. It's lame. But we at least finished off strong with Ric Flair getting into the ring, laying chops in on Powerhouse Hobbs during this match. It was anything goes. Sting and Darby versus Hobbs and Takeshita, and even the Nature Boy Ric Flair was getting involved in the action, poked Hobbs in the eyes. Takeshita went after Flair, but Sting saved him. Flair almost got destroyed by Takeshita. Darby did a coffin drop off the bleachers. Huh?
Because a while back, Flair, I think on his podcast, ripped on Konosuke because he said his chops were the worst chops he's ever seen. And then when he would do chops during the match, he gave him that death stare. Commentary didn't catch on that, but I caught on it right away because I remember that. That was a big deal when that happened.
Right, because he was chopping, and then he was looking at Flair after every chop. I thought he was just like, hey, you're Ric Flair, I'm chopping in front of you. It was because Flair had disrespected his chopping abilities. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So they were playing off that. I didn't even notice. Darby did a coffin drop at one point off the bleachers, and, Takeshita didn't really catch him, and Darby just hit him at all. Darby just went
too. That's hard.
Right on the floor. That was nasty.
But, by the way, it was fantastic having JR back for the main event.
Yes. But in Takeshita's defense, Darby is coming fast. And high up. It's not easy to catch him perfect. And sometimes those things are going to happen. I don't think, I'm not going to blame Takeshita for what happened. Those things happen.
It wasn't like The Miz and R-Truth. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But that rope thing, though, what happened to Darby, that could have been really bad. Apparently, he's actually heard from that too.
What happened exactly? I didn't catch that.
So Hobbs and Konosuke like whipped him into the other corner, like
Yeah.
did like a swing kind of thing, like swinged him from like one side of the ring to the other. And when they swung him, like he went twisting in the air, and then landed the back of his head into the bottom rope, and it like snapped back kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And right away, he went to his neck, and it's like even the ref checked on him with
Yeah.
that. So apparently his neck still hurt from that.
But the
Which I
match
don't blame
continued.
him.
Like he seemed to continue after that, didn't he?
Well, Darby's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Darby will, can fall from the top rope, hit the floor and still keep going.
Yeah, he
But that
does some
looked rough.
crazy stuff.
And then the craziest thing happened.
Yeah.
At the end of the match.
Sting hit a Scorpion Death Drop on Hobbs off the stage through a table. There were 2 tables set up, but Sting missed the first one and kind of went not really through it. It just kind of like the legs just buckled on it. Sting took a bump. Hobbs took a nasty fall. And then he pinned him, and that was the match. But that final bump, that final move from Sting was unbelievable.
It's one of the craziest things I've ever
64 years
seen.
old. Yeah.
That was absolutely insane. Like, for both the guys, like Sting without question, for being 64. But Hobbs, you're high up, and you're going back, head first, back. You're 300 plus pounds. That is crazy. I can't believe they did that. I'm glad no one's hurt or like seriously injured, but that was insane when I saw that happen. I couldn't believe it.
It was an incredible finish to the match. Incredible finish to the TV show. Nuts.
That's definitely the moment of the year so far, without question, because I could not believe that. I had to watch that several times, being like, did this actually happen?
What a bump. What a bump from both guys. Just going for it.
Yeah.
And Sting, like, what is he doing? He's going out with a bang. He is not, slowly crawling to the finish line. He is sprinting. It's nuts.
Well, it makes me worry. Like, okay, like that's what they do now. What are they going to do for the pay-per-view? I'm kind of scared for that now.
I mean, it'll be his final match, so, if he breaks his leg, he breaks his leg. You'll have time to recover.
Might be an iron lung. Who knows? Like,
yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He's the Stinger, okay? He's a superhero. And then Shivani interviews Sting in the ring after the match and says, who is the final match? And then the Young Bucks come out, and they got mustaches, and Nick's in a white suit, Matt's in a black suit. They got a new look. They've been gone for a while. They're back. And it's going to be Darby and Sting versus the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view in Sting's final match. And you could tell, he's still got a lot left in the tank, and I think that final match is going to be nuts. I hope there's no DQs in that one, too, because I feel like him and Darby, that's where they're thriving. Like a regular match, give me some false count anywhere stuff. That's fun.
Yeah, I expect no DQ. I don't think it needs to be like a street fight kind of thing, but what they said on Wednesday, tornado tag, that's all it's got to be, really, I think.
Yeah.
It's better for the Bucks too, because for the most part, the Bucks go in and out of the ring so much. It's like, wow, might as well just have no tag.
And that way you can get Ric Flair involved.
That too. I mean, he's going to get involved anyways. Probably turn on Sting and then turn back on Sting in the same match.
You can't turn on the Stinger, brother. Come on. Maybe he turns on the Stinger and then Hogan comes out to make the save?
I think people would actually boo, but okay.
Yeah, that upsets me, but I'm not going to get involved in Hogan and booing. John, you got a great memory. Speaking of Hogan, you know all about wrestling, right? I showed a figure
somewhat. One of the many Hogans that Dave Simon has here.
Yeah, I got tons of Hogans. I got tons and tons of Hogans. I could show you all the Hogans, but it'll take too long. So here's a new Hogan I just got, right? Hogan. Because, I'm a Hogan super fan. I love Hulk Hogan. When did he wear this gear? What is this from, this gear? The white Hulkamania shirt with the blue pants? Like, what is this? Is this like a backstage thing? Like, what is going on here with Big Terry? What's the look?
To me, that's it's like 85, I'm thinking.
I mean, the hair says definitely early to mid 80s, right? Because by late 80s, it was the more current Hogan hair look. But the shirt that says Hulkamania, like Hulkamania was running wild at this point. I got this new Hogan. I love him because I love the different outfit because so many Hogans are like, red and yellow, whatever. But this one with the white Hulkamania shirt and the white Hulkamania bandana. Does it say Hulkamania? No, it says Hulkster. You probably can't see that, but it says Hulkster there on the bandana.
No, I see it. I feel it's like the WrestleMania 2 era. That's what I feel like. It's after WrestleMania 1, but WrestleMania 2. I feel it's that time. I feel like he had that look. I can't picture the pants exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had that. It might be a Saturday Night Main Event, possibly.
Find me the show that Hogan wore that on. Send it to me at Dave Simon MMA. Find me the show. Find me a picture. Send me something. I want to know. Because, they're all from a certain thing, a certain event, a certain look. And it's like, when did Hogan wear this? This is not a normal Hogan look. I love my
Hopefully
Hogans.
They do that for Sting, I hope. They have the many faces of Sting. That should be a t-shirt.
The Stanger.
Quite a few.
Over in WWE World, Johnny North, your boy CM Punk cut a promo this week. He was in the ring. He won't be on Raw Monday because he's part-time Phil. But part-time Phil was in the ring this week with Big Drew McIntyre. And he's sad, Drew McIntyre, that he didn't win the world title last week, and he's thinking about stepping away from the WWE, and he's mad at everybody, and Seth, and Damian Priest, and Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. He's just mad. And he says, well, maybe I should leave for 9 years and get a hero's reception when I return. Of course, he's talking about CM Punk, and then CM Punk comes out, and he says, oh, we're in Roddy Piper country, and Piper was known for talking, and I'm known for talking. Drew McIntyre, are you known for talking? And I go, no, he's not. Thank you for saving the segment here, CM Punk, because this was going nowhere. And I don't think he really saved it. It didn't really go anywhere. Punk asks Drew to say whatever he wants to say to his face. And then Drew congratulates Punk for lasting over a month in WWE. And Drew says, Punk, you were the locker room leader, and you called yourself the locker room leader when you were here back then, and I was in a dark place, and I needed help, and you never helped me. You never reached out. And it's like, is he supposed to reach out to every person on the roster to see how they're doing? Like, what are you talking about? And Punk says, what?
Punk kind of said that too. It's like, oh, I didn't help you out kind of thing. Like,
yeah, what the hell was that? It was just like Drew McIntyre whining, like, I was sad, CM Punk, and you never asked me how I was feeling. We weren't really friends, and you like, what? And Punk's like, I was a leader because I led by example, and you followed my lead because you left and you came back better. So, there you go. And Punk says Drew can't stop him from winning the Royal Rumble, and Seth can't, and Cody can't either. So Punk mentioning Cody here, which I thought was interesting. And Punk says that since he's such a nice guy, he's going to throw Drew out of the Rumble last, which I think was not a prediction, but a spoiler. I think that's probably going to happen now, that he said it.
Well, yes and no. Like,
No?
I think he'll throw Drew out as one of the last, not the. I think it's going to come down to Punk and Cody because that's more interesting than just Drew and Punk, I think.
Maybe. Punk and Cody. LA Knight in there as well, possibly, but he's in a 4-way now, so who knows if he's even going to be in the Rumble match.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think he's in the match because of that.
Yeah, Punk and Cody at the end does make a lot of sense. I don't know. I didn't think that this was a great promo. There was just nothing said. There was no real beef between these two guys. I didn't feel any heat.
I think it was just nice to have Drew cut a promo like this because we haven't seen him be this emotional, I think, in his promos. I feel for the most part they're pretty just straightforward, just gets the point, yells at people, and it's not really of much interest. But this one, it seemed like he had a little bit to say. And I was interested to see what he was going to say and what Punk was going to say back. Punk had a couple of good jabs, but I agree. Like, I wish Punk would have said a bit more. I feel like Punk's holding back at this point because I feel like he doesn't want to completely destroy people in his promos. Also, that kind of gives me the feeling he's winning the Rumble because he would destroy people, I think, if he wasn't winning the Rumble. So,
I mean,
in the end,
I think Punk felt bad for Drew McIntyre because when Drew McIntyre tries to go toe-to-toe with CM Punk and tries to drop pipe bombs and say, oh, be all shooty and like, back then you weren't nice to me, that's all he's got, and it's really weak material. Because Drew McIntyre, the reason why Drew McIntyre isn't a megastar in professional wrestling is because when it comes down to it, he's got some weak-ass promos. Weak. If he had good promos, he'd be on top of the wrestling business. He can wrestle. He's ginormous, muscular. Like, he's got everything that you would want. But when he speaks and when he does his promos and when he's really got something to say, you go, what the hell are you talking about, dude? CM Punk wasn't a leader to you because you were in the 3MB and he didn't give a shit about you? No one gave a shit about you. Like, it was sad for you because your wife, Tiffany, or whatever she was, she got fired and you had a fight at WrestleMania weekend or whatever. Wasn't that a whole story with Drew McIntyre? Wasn't he married to one of the wrestling women?
Party or something, or WrestleMania after party?
Some sort of party. They got into a thing and she got fired, I think.
And they got divorced. So, yeah, that's kind of sad, yeah.
And then she was on The Wire, and she was topless on The Wire. I remember that, being like, oh, she was in wrestling. I never forget. Anyhow, fucking Drew McIntyre's wife is topless on The Wire.
Ex-wife.
Yeah, whatever.
Got remarried.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was during that time that Drew McIntyre was like sad and complaining about CM Punk. But like, that's all you got? That's all you got on CM Punk. That's all you're going for. Weak.
Well, still, like, the best segment they had besides R-Truth this week. I mean, Raw was not very good, so.
Raw was terrible.
Raw
was awful this week.
As good as it gets.
R-Truth was good. R-Truth is backstage promo, pre-tape video package thing about being in the Judgment Day as babies. He showed the Judgment Day babies and being there for all the moments of the Judgment Day when Priest won Money in the Bank. Like, he's just kind of crudely, in the image. The Judgment Day in Your House pay-per-view that they were not a part of, but Truth says he was there and they were there in the poster there that he made. I mean, it was a lot of great stuff.
I thought it was fantastic. Like, I'm not a huge fan of comedy in wrestling, but R-Truth is hilarious and he makes it work. If anything, like, because he's so good, they try to copy it too much, and It shows you like when people can do comedy well, and then people don't do comedy well. Like R-Truth can do it well, others definitely cannot because he's amazing.
He's a great performer. He's very funny. He's got this character down. This confused, hilarious character. He's got it down perfectly. The Judgment Day turning a little bit comedic because of it. I don't know how long this is going to last. I think if
Priest
they
is
embrace it,
laughing.
if they embrace truth, they could turn full-on babyface. I don't know what they're going to do. I think the current Judgment Day is stale, and Truth is injecting some life into it. And I know Damian Priest said he's going to take care of it or whatever. I don't think take care of it means end it. I don't think you should end it. I don't think they will end it because they realize they have something here.
Someone's
and again, like the Judgment Day is so tired right now. It's so boring with Finn and JD and Priest and Dominic. Like, R-Truth is making them interesting again. So I think they need R-Truth.
Well, it'll be interesting next week because it's going to be R-Truth and Miz against Priest and Finn. Non-title. But I actually wouldn't mind R-Truth and Miz as tag team champions. Again, just because R-Truth is so good right now, to me, he should be a champion, and that put him on both shows.
But then it's not R-Truth with the Judgment Day. It's R-Truth and Miz, which is not as fun at all. It's actually pretty bad.
He still thinks he's in Judgment Day. That makes it even better.
Finn Balor took a loss on Raw to Tommaso Ciampa after Johnny Gargano tripped Finn, and Ciampa fell on him for the win. I think they're working towards a DIY Ciampa and Gargano match against Finn and Priest for the tag titles at some point. Looks like that's happening.
Facing Dom and JD next week. Not Tom and Nick, right?
Tom and Nick Mysterio, which is another R-Truth gem. Nia Jax was interviewed in the ring by Michael Cole this week, and it was very bad. Talking about winning the Rumble and beating Rhea Ripley, and then Rhea Ripley came out. And, it was just an awful promo. It was just so bad.
Well, this is what throws it off, too. It's like you have Rhea come out and get a huge face pop. Well, it's like, so are Judgment Day heels or faces? Like, what's going on here?
They're turning babyface.
But it also goes to show you, I think it goes to show you, too, like, Rhea doesn't have any competition, so they have to kind of make her that in-between where she can feud with anybody, because there's nobody really for her to feud with.
Yeah. Maybe Becky at some point, hopefully.
I think Mania. For sure.
I think Mania should be the move. Seth Rollins was in the ring, talked about Mania and never taken the world title into Mania, and he wonders who he will face at Mania, and the fans start chanting CM Punk, and Seth says, in his dreams, maybe, but of course, it's happening, Seth, you know it. And then Jinder Mahal comes out, and he's getting overlooked, and he's mad about that. And then Seth turns his back for a moment, and Jinder attacks, and then Seth fights back, and Jinder escapes. And now we have a world title match on Raw. Jay, I wonder who's going to win. I'm going to go with Seth. What do you think, John?
Well, I just think this promo wasn't very interesting. Like, everyone was talking about, Jinder versus Seth, but this promo wasn't very exciting. I wasn't more interested in the match. If anything, I'm like, can we not have this match? Because I wasn't big into what they were talking about. I expect it's going to be the usual 20, 25 minutes, 2 commercial breaks for the Raw main event, but kind of like the Raw main event we had this week, just goes through the motions. It's a street fight that they had, and it was fine, but it was just going through the motions. Like a double stomp or double knee, I think, through a table was one spot, and just throw the guy, sidestep was another table spot.
Yep.
Just weak, nothing great, and I'm expecting nothing great from Seth versus Jinder. I'm sure some people will be like, "Oh, great move, whatever," when Seth does the superplex into a Falcon Arrow or maybe into 3 more suplexes. That looks nice, I guess, but doesn't make a lot of sense.
I just don't care. I can't pretend to care about Seth and Jinder. It just doesn't matter. And Raw Monday night does not look good. They're advertising Cody Rhodes talking about probably the Rumble. They're advertising Seth and Jinder, and they're advertising the return of Gunther to talk.
Without Punk, it's really tough without
it's bad.
Punk on this show.
And The Rock. We need The Rock on more often, I think.
Well, you saw the new reports now, because the reports are changing every week, that there's no Roman for the Elimination Chamber.
No shit.
So now everyone's panicking now because you can't have that Rock versus Roman match at the Chamber. So,
which said was never happening.
Exactly.
I don't know why people were delusional. Johnny and I told you the whole time, Rock and Roman is a WrestleMania match. It's not an Elimination Chamber match. It makes absolutely no sense. Yet some people persisted. He's going to finish the story. Cody's going to finish the story at WrestleMania. Shut the fuck up. Just listen to me and Johnny, all right? We'll set you straight. Like, that was crazy. It's going to happen at Chamber, Rocket Chamber at 4:30 in the morning in Australia. What? No one will watch it. Yeah, that's a good investment. Yeah, so it's going to be at WrestleMania, obviously.
Well, Rock will probably be at Elimination Chamber, but to win a Chamber match to go on to WrestleMania.
You think he's going to wrestle before Mania? Now you're delusional.
I could see him being in a Chamber, because being in a Chamber, think about it. He's in one of the pods. I mean, does he really have to wrestle that much? Not at all.
He's not going to do that. He won't be at Chamber.
Well, I think wait and see.
Have they sold out that event?
I think they're close to, no?
Uh-huh. And have they advertised The Rock for the event?
There was talks of The Rock, yeah.
Have they advertised The Rock for the event?
The Rock is not 100% advertised.
He is not advertised for the event.
There's only rumors of The Rock.
He's not on any poster. They have not said Dwayne Johnson will be appearing. Correct? And they have nearly sold out this building. Why the fuck would they fly him out when they've already sold the place out for a match he doesn't need to have to earn a shot at Roman Reigns? Here's what he does to earn a shot at Roman Reigns. Walks to the ring and says, I'm the head of the table. I'm wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And everybody in wrestling goes, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe some nerds out there will be like, he didn't earn a shot. He needed to win a match to get a title shot. And we'll be like, shut the fuck up. Stop being a nerd and enjoy the ride. Like, what? You don't need The Rock to earn a shot at WrestleMania. That's irrelevant. That's, you're getting too deep into the nonsense of it. Did Jinder Mahal beat anybody to earn a shot at Seth Rollins? So why would The Rock need to beat anybody to earn a shot at anybody anytime? He's The Rock. That's enough. Come on, man. He's not going to be at the Chamber. I'll bet anything. You want to bet he's not wrestling at the Chamber?
Well, when is the Chamber, by the way? What's the date on the Chamber?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's important with The Rock's schedule, right?
February.
Because doesn't The Rock have appearances coming up?
February 24th. I don't know what his schedule is.
I mean, that plays an important factor, too, so something to look into.
In Australia, over 20 hours flying. Come on, Johnny, says Jimmy James. Come on, Johnny. He's not going. Roman's not going. If Roman's not going, Dwayne is certainly not going.
Well, money does a lot, though. So I wouldn't put it past it, but it's something to look into, I think.
Oh, yeah, Rock's really hurting for cash. If WWE puts out the money, you might do anything for it. You know,
Millions does a lot.
He owns a football league.
He lost like a lot of money this year with
He
the
owns
XFL.
a football
Last
league.
year, actually.
He's the biggest selling box office actor in all of the movies. He's bigger than Timothée Chalamet, man. This guy's big time. The Rock. Just recently discovered that guy, Timothée Chalamet. Can't stop saying that guy's name. Chalamet. I watched the Golden Globes last week to see Succession win all the things. One last party for the great Succession. Okay. The SmackDown tonight, there was a lot of Uso things, Uso and Solo things. They beat up Cameron Grimes on the ramp because he was going to have a match with Grayson Waller. But that match never wound up happening because Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, on behalf of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, are beating up people on SmackDown because they're mad that Roman Reigns has been booked in a 4-way for the Royal Rumble. Right? Heyman saying,
right, yeah.
This is not our fault. What is happening here? This is Nick Aldis's fault. And then Nick Aldis goes, well, you won't be able to screw up the main event tonight because you'll be in it. And it'll be Solo and Jimmy and Roman Reigns against AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. And then Heyman goes, Roman Reigns isn't here. And he's like, well, find a partner or it's 3-on-2. So Nick Aldis doubles down on putting the Bloodline in unfair matches. And the Bloodline goes, guess he's got us there. I guess we'll stop attacking people. What? Why did they stop attacking random people after that? Wouldn't they just attack more random people out of rage after they were put in another unfair contest? But no, that's not the logic that we're doing. We're doing different logic. Paul Heyman says, it's okay, guys. Everybody loves me. I'm going to find a tag team partner for us tonight.
Yeah, because the focus should be on finding a partner instead of beating people up, right?
I guess at that point you have to change your focus because you're in a match. You have to refocus.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, John. You are correct. You got me again, Johnny. You got me again. So Heyman says, don't worry, guys. I'm going to find us a partner. And then he's looking for a partner. And he sees Carlito. Carlito, who is there with Cruz del Toro and Zelina Vega and Joaquin Wilde. And Heyman wants... What?
He did a run-in during that tag match, Carlito. He beat up Santos?
Yes, he did. Yes, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza did wind up beating Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, with Garza's hand holding the ropes to cheat to win on the pinfall. Carlito came out and brawled with Santos Escobar during the match. Santos was on commentary. Santos has his buddies there, Humberto and Angel. They won. Carlito still aligned with Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Zelina Vega. They are continuing that LWO thing, and Carlito and Santos, I guess, will wrestle at some point against each other. So Carlito was backstage with Heyman, and Heyman offered Carlito an apple and a spot on Team Bloodline, but Carlito says he's only interested in fighting Santos, but he will take the apple, and he thanked him for the apple, which I thought was a nice little backstage with Heyman. I also enjoyed Pretty Deadly offering their services to Paul Heyman backstage. I thought they were pretty funny. They were hugging Heyman. Heyman says, I only need one of you guys. There's only one spot in the match with Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa against Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. And as Heyman is saying, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, LA Knight, they're like, oh, we got to wrestle those guys, and then they back away. They're like, maybe not. They backed away. I thought they were good. I thought they were delightful in that role with Paul Heyman. When they're not wrestling, when they're just doing the backstage stuff, they're kind of funny. I like Pretty Deadly. I like Carlito. Those were good. The other one that Heyman did with... there was another one that was not so good.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, with Bobby Lashley. That was awkward. He's like, Bobby, you want to be on our team? Bobby's like, the only time I want to be in the ring with the Bloodline is when I'm across the ring from Roman Reigns. I was like, all right, Bobby. Good luck with all that. Bobby Lashley.
No, I didn't mind the Bobby thing though. Bobby was fine.
He's so
Carlito
awkward,
was
man.
fine.
Every time Bobby talks, I'm like, why did you say it that way?
It's the way he talks. It's the way he is.
But it's weird. The delivery's so weird. When I'm across the ring from Roman Reigns, like he's hyping up Roman. Like what is that?
It's the way he talks, the way he says it.
It's weird.
I don't know.
It's awkward. It's uncomfortable.
I have no problem with it. It's like wrestling. You know, you get these awkward moments every now and then. I didn't mind it though. Pretty Deadly, I didn't think that was that good. I thought it was kind of goofy, kind of like you should know the match you're signing up for, no? But they don't. They don't realize who they're wrestling against. They're just like, oh, let's try to buddy up with Heyman and like tap him on the shoulder all the time. That must have been annoying to talk while someone's tapping on the shoulder all the time, but he didn't seem to mind that. I wasn't a fan of that.
I loved it. I thought they were super funny. I like those guys.
Instead of trying to get them on the show because there was no other spot for them, they try to put a lot of people on the show.
Yeah.
You noticed that for SmackDown.
Yeah. Logan Paul had a little promo on the show saying, Kevin Owens, you hit me with your cast, but you shouldn't be allowed to have that cast. And then Kevin Owens is like, all right, how about we talk about it next week? So Logan Paul is going to be on the Kevin Owens show on SmackDown next week. And Roman Reigns is going to be on SmackDown too to do the contract signing for the Royal Rumble. So Roman Reigns and Logan Paul both advertised for SmackDown next week, so it should be a good show. I thought tonight was okay, but there were some hits and misses. I liked Bianca Belair and Bayley. I thought that was a solid match. The crowd was kind of dead for it, but the match was good. Bianca hitting Bayley with the KOD to get the win. At one point, Bayley tossed Bianca out of the ring, and then she kind of acted like her knee was hurt to distract the referee and was expecting all the damage control people, 4 of them out there, to attack Bianca, and was even waving them on to do it, and they didn't. And then Bianca wound up winning the match. And then Bayley kind of confronted them afterwards and asked Dakota, like, why weren't you helping me? And Dakota said, well, we thought you had it, on your own, and don't worry about that. Just focus on winning the Royal Rumble on your own. So, not offering a lot of support to their supposed leader, Bayley. I think this is all leading to Bayley winning the Rumble and then challenging Io for WrestleMania. But Johnny North feels otherwise. He thinks Becky Lynch will win the Rumble and challenge Rhea Ripley, which is exciting for me because, both scenarios make sense. Both scenarios are possible. And I look forward to the Rumble to see who's right.
Well, I think we're just thinking opposite ways here. Like, I think it's going to happen both ways. It's just, I think it's going to be Rumble and Bayley could win the Chamber. To me, the Bayley story isn't finished enough for her to win the Rumble. For me, Becky's pretty much set for the Rumble. Everything's been told. I think it's pretty much already good for her to go against Rhea. For Bayley, I feel there still needs to be another moment for her where it's like, okay, damage control is truly against me. Now I have to win the Rumble kind of thing. I feel they're not at that moment. I feel they'll do that for the Chamber, where it's like, oh, it's all against me. I have to win the Chamber to get my revenge.
I could see Becky just winning a Chamber match to earn a shot at Rhea.
Hasn't she already won a Chamber, though, too?
Well, she's also won a Rumble. And Bayley hasn't won a Rumble.
Again, if Bayley was in that spot, like where they're really pushing her like that, I could see it. But I feel the story isn't there yet. I mean, but it's not finished yet for that. They need to really turn on her.
Io's the champion, but the focus is on Bayley. She is the top female star on SmackDown right now.
I guess. I mean, Bianca's kind of up there too when you think about it.
Bianca's up there, but there's not as much focus on Bianca or any story with Bianca or anything going on with Bianca like there is with Bayley and like there has been with Bayley for months now. Antoinette agrees with you. She thinks Becky's going to win the Rumble. And I don't know. I saw Antoinette asking if we're going to go to Money in the Bank. I don't think I'm going to go to Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank.
Raw is an idea.
Money in the Bank is in Toronto in July, I think. I don't think I'm going to go.
You've been to Money in the Bank already anyways. But I think I might go to Raw.
It's a fun event. I'm going to Raw. I have tickets for Raw. In Montreal.
I'll probably go to Raw, I guess.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to Raw. I already have my tickets, so no getting out of it. Should be good. Hopefully it's a CM Punk Raw. I hope it's not one of those Raws where there's no Punk. Because that happens,
That was not like a draft Raw. That would be horrific. I've seen one of those, and yikes.
That's kind of a pain in the ass, right? You buy tickets for Raw. You hope to get Punk. You hope to be on the week where it's a Punk week. You know?
The thing is, you're coming off WrestleMania, the week after WrestleMania, so who knows what happens with that, who's hurt, whatever. People take time off after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You see Punk's schedule now.
That's it.
Who knows?
It's hit or miss. Like when you buy tickets for a WWE TV, when they come to your hometown, you hope, the SmackDown you go to is going to have Roman Reigns. You hope the Raw you go to is going to have CM Punk. But if you go to one of those Raws or one of those SmackDowns without those guys, you go, I got the B version of this show. The A version is with the major stars.
Well, we were fortunate, though. We had Roman for SmackDown. We had Roman for the pay-per-view as well, Elimination Chamber. So it was quite good.
That was very good.
We were quite fortunate.
We got an excellent pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber last year with Roman in the main event.
And I would suspect that because it's going to be in Montreal, regardless that's Raw, I think Kevin Owens will probably make an appearance. It might not be on television, but I think we'll see Kevin Owens possibly in a dark match. So
yeah, I
think it'll be a good night. Long night, but a good night.
Main event ends. It was Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles against Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. They never found a tag team partner. But they tried to remedy that by attacking Randy Orton on his entrance. Solo hit Randy with the Samoan spike, and then Randy was taken to the back. So it was a tag team match for the majority of it. Why?
You missed something. You missed a big thing. What happened with the Austin Theory match against Carmelo Hayes that just ended.
Yeah. No, I'm jumping ahead. We'll go back to the Theory match. I mean,
okay.
Whatever. AJ and LA Knight were arguing during the match. AJ went to tag LA Knight at one point, but decided not to. Jimmy Uso then meant to super kick AJ, but AJ ducked, and LA Knight got super kicked off the apron, and Randy Orton came out. At the end of the match, AJ tagged Randy in, and then Randy hit his moves. He no-sold a super kick from Jimmy Uso and hit the RKO.
Yeah.
Some guys just lose matches to that. Randy just goes, RKO, and then pins you. I don't know.
I'm okay with it. It was super old. Like, the crowd went crazy when that happened.
It was a little much for me to buy. I was like, okay, those Uso super kicks are usually pretty powerful. Randy just goes RKO out of it. Didn't even fall down to a knee. Nothing. Anyways,
he also got spiked before the match started too.
Yeah, so they won. Yeah, he got Samoan spiked too, but he was all right. Solo attacked Randy after the match, but then AJ hit Solo with the phenomenal forearm, and then LA Knight hit the BFT, and Randy Orton hit an RKO on Solo. And then they hit Jimmy with the stairs. And then LA and AJ and Randy triple powerbomb Solo through the table, the announce table, Shield style, like that triple powerbomb, right? Just like Roman and Dean Ambrose and Seth used to do all the time.
Yep.
And Solo took a big old bump through that announce table. I mean, they tossed him. he didn't just crash through the table. He crashed and skidded. Like, that was rough. Hell of a bump from Solo.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, he felt it. And then Randy was like talking to LA Knight and AJ Styles at the end of the show, and you could just hear Randy talking a little bit on camera, and the last words I heard Randy say were, "Screw his big ass." I guess he was talking about Solo, but just the last words that came out on TV were, "Screw his big ass." That's all. I just thought it was funny. I mean, I think somebody should clip that and, have Randy Orton just screw his big ass. That's got to be on Botchamania. Screw his big ass. If you say so, Randy. Maybe that was a directive. LA Knight, you know what to do. Pardon me, Randy? This is SmackDown, sir.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like, again, going back to the house show here in Laval, it's just funny because I was close to ringside. Just hearing the wrestlers just randomly swear just out of nowhere. Like, I feel like they don't realize, like, it's very easy for people to hear them, and things just come out of their mouths, and like, wow, you probably shouldn't have said that on television like that, or around children, any kind of show, but it just comes out sometimes. You get pumped up. I think that's what happens. They get too into the moment, and just the first instinct comes into mind was, drop an F-bomb or some S words.
S-words.
Randy, Randy as well, like just dropping whatever.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
It's Randy.
But I think it adds realism to it. I think it adds realism to it. I remember Ric Flair getting put into I think it was like Triple H put him in like a figure four.
Right.
And you could just hear Flair, you motherfucker. Fuck you. You just cursing at him. It's like, it adds to the realism, because if somebody's putting you in a hold and it hurts, you might, swear at him. I got no problem with that. It was a funny statement to end SmackDown with. Screw his big ass. My God, Randy. My God. Shout out to Antoinette, who's been a member for 35 months over at join.ringsidereport.net. That is dedication. We thank you, Antoinette. We salute you. And glad to see you here joining us live. Haven't seen Antoinette in the chat for a while. Good to see you. And maybe we will make the trip down to Toronto for Money in the Bank. It's a possibility. I do like Money in the Bank. It's a fun pay-per-view. Shout out to Ray Cruz, who's in the chat, Jimmy James, Antoinette, Angelo Contagonis. So many people that are members in the chat tonight that I'm seeing. I saw Leor before. Jason Pete, of course. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network over at membership.ringsidereport.net or join.ringsidereport.net. However you're doing it, we love it. We love it. Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes. Johnny North, real excited to talk about this. Made sure I didn't skip over it. Well, what happened in the finish? I think that was the planned finish. They planned to do a double knockout finish because the referee immediately stopped the match. It wasn't even like, check on the guys. He just stopped it. Like, usually when they stop a match, there's a few moments of confusion. Check on a guy. What do I do? What do we do? Stop the match. This was move happens, match is over. That felt fake to me.
It possibly was. I was wondering too if there's any updates about it, because they said they'd release updates, but I'm guessing there isn't any updates. So if there isn't any update, then I kind of question it. However, the way Austin Theory landed, regardless if it's planned or not, he did not land very well whatsoever. I mean, that was practically a brainbuster that he gave himself. Well, technically, I feel like Carmelo Hayes didn't push enough. That's what it looked like when I saw the replay. I don't know what you saw. But when that happens, it feels like there's supposed to be a double push off. And Hayes didn't get the push off. He just kind of rolled with it. He took a bit of a bad landing, but Theory, it looked pretty much directly on his head. And albeit it's not standing on top rope, but it's still the top rope, and he's flipping backwards. I kind of hope you're right, but that did look scary. And it was weird because they're just lying there hurt in the ring, and commentary is just like, well, that's terrible what happens there. We'll keep an update what happens kind of thing. And they're still hurt in the ring, and they're just like, well, we're moving on kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that
didn't feel
was
real.
Weird, but
didn't feel real.
That I could also see WWE just being cold like that. Because to me, that felt very cold to do something like that.
It didn't feel real in the moment. It just felt like too fast for the ref to stop the match. The match was stopped so quickly, and yes, it looked rough, and they both did kind of land on their heads.
Yeah.
So it's harder to tell, but that's what you want if you're going to do a finish like that, right? Tough bump, make it hard to tell. I hope they're all right. I think they're fine. Like, I don't want to be insensitive and, you find out tomorrow they both have broken necks and they're both going to be out for a year or two and their careers are over, and here I am sitting going, it's fake. That's mean. But it didn't seem real to me. It seemed like a worked injury angle, and I hope I'm correct. I think I am, though, right? Like, it didn't... Just because the way the move happened, and then the ref was right there, stop the match. Maybe, like, I just saw a replay of it just now as we're talking, and like, he may have gone to Theory and gone, you okay? And if Theory goes, hey, then you go, oh shit, end the match. Like, if Theory says some nonsense, right? If he goes, wuzzle, you go, okay, there's some shit fucked up here. We got to stop the match. Theory's fucked up. So maybe that happened, but it didn't look like it. It looked like, okay, that was the move. Here we go. Match over. And it's an angle that's leading somewhere.
Well, and this happened on Raw, but I think on Raw it was actually legit because that happened to Vinci when Kofi gave him the drop kick. And then he's just like, well, the match ends. And you could tell that wasn't supposed to happen because it was a tag match. Jey Uso made the hot tag, and then they end the match. So clearly that wasn't supposed to happen. And because that happened on Raw, they do like to do the whole, like, what happened on Raw, we got to do it on SmackDown too. They always like to do that counterpoint kind of thing because maybe they have an idea for that. It's possible. But again, the way Theory landed, if you planned it or not, that was still horrific the way he landed. It's a rough bump.
It was a rough bump, but it was a work. Update from WWE. Following their match on SmackDown, Theory and Carmella were evaluated for injuries. They both suffered face contusions and will both be okay. They got a couple scratches on their face. Cool. They're fine.
Oh, I'm glad they're okay.
It was a work.
Okay, that's good.
I didn't feel any worry at all during the show watching it. I was not worried for them at all. Am I heartless, or have I just seen this shit too much? It was just the ref jumped in too fast. The ref jumped in way too fast, and I go, oh, they're doing a worked injury angle where they may have both broken their necks? That seems insensitive to when that actually happens. Remember when that happened to Big E not that long ago? We're going to do that as a storyline now? That seems bad, and that's how I felt about it. Like, ugh, I don't like this angle.
Super chat.
Well, I hate it for the crowd too. That's really crumbling for the crowd. Just to end a match like that, where just a dud ending like that. That's kind of really too bad. But again, Austin Theory shouldn't cut it close like that because that's maybe it's okay now, but you keep doing that, it won't be okay afterwards.
Yeah. He needs to reinvent himself because the gimmick is just not going anywhere. He's got a lot going for him. He's super jacked, big guy, very athletic, young, but the gimmick is just nothing. There's nothing. What is he? He's young, cocky, and athletic. What else?
Jack. Pretty much it.
Athletic. I mean, it's part of, I don't know.
It's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
But you notice the ones they're like, you got to watch out for these. And this year, 2023, Austin Theory is one of them. Bianca was another. And like they started the year off good, but they didn't end the year very well. And it feels like they're kind of in limbo now, almost in a sense, both of them. They were the big hot prospects, and now they're kind of back down to earth in a sense.
Bianca Belair is a much bigger star than Austin Theory.
Because of lack of competition.
She's
who else
better.
is in the women's division?
She's better. She's got more going for her. She's better.
I mean, tonight, I can't say she had a great match tonight, though.
I thought the match was pretty good. I liked the match.
There were moments, again, and this has happened with Bianca. I don't know if it's because she was off for a bit. There's moments where it's like kind of clunky, or it's like, it seems like they got lost for a little bit.
Yeah, in the corner when she did the roll up, and the ref was like, no pin. I was like, what happened there? That was weird.
There was that, the hair tie spot. Like, she moved out of the way too early.
Yes.
Like, it made Bayley look like an idiot.
Yes.
But
Bayley had to just ram her own face into the turnbuckle because Bianca. But she moved. Bayley was supposed to trip over the hair. It was supposed to be like a trip, but it didn't really turn out. It was. They were trying to be fancy with the spot, and it didn't really work.
Again, it's not big things, but it's like, it happens quite a bit. The Kairi Sane match, too, with Bianca, that was a mess.
Yeah.
I just feel like ever since she came back, it hasn't been the best of Bianca. Like, I feel like she had a great run to start 2023, but her comeback since come back from her leave of absence hasn't been anything stellar.
Did the win over Bayley get her a title shot at EO at the Rumble?
They didn't say that, but you would think that would happen. No, I mean, what matches do we have for the Rumble besides the Rumble matches and the 4-way? I feel like nothing else right now.
Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens.
Okay, so 4 matches. I mean, it's not impossible. They could go with 4.
They got to have a women's title match on there. It's either Bianca and Io or Rhea against Nia Jax. But isn't Nia Jax? No, Nia's in the Rumble, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think Io and Bianca probably are gonna. I've never heard Bianca say any. Oh no, she said she was gonna win the Rumble too, right? Bianca,
yeah,
because Bayley said she's winning the Rumble, and then Bianca's like, nah, me. Right?
Right.
So maybe no women's title match, women's tag title match?
Eek. But I could see that, actually. That makes sense because Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are the number 1 contenders.
Yikes.
So it actually does make sense.
Yeah. Because you kind of have to have a women's match if you're going to have 3 men's match, like 2 men's matches, the men's Rumble match, and just 1 women's Rumble match. You kind of have to throw in a women's match on that card. Women's tag titles make sense. It'll be short.
Well,
and I'm not talking about Katana Chance, who is tiny. So far announced for the Rumble: Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. 5 men have been announced for the Royal Rumble. 5 of a possible 30. 4 women of a possible 30. Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. They're not building a lot of possible Rumble contenders. 2 weeks out, and it's like, these are the main ones, and then there's some other people that'll fill out the match. These are the ones you need to care about. Bayley, Nia, Becky, Bianca. Them, and then 26 other people that will be eliminated. In the men's match, these are the 5 people you kind of need to pay attention to. Cody, Punk, Nakamura, Bobby, Drew. I guess you got to pay attention to Nakamura, Bobby, Drew. But, And then the 25 other guys in the match, they're just there to be thrown over the top rope. And that's what they're telling you when they're 2 weeks away and they haven't announced anybody else. Focus on these ones. They're going to win. One of these. Punk and Bailey. Punk and Bailey is my prediction. Johnny is Punk and Becky, right?
For now. I mean, we still got time. It could change. I mean, if they actually push the Bailey storyline towards that switch on Damage Control earlier, I could see it. I just haven't seen it yet.
Tonight, I mean, the look on Bailey's face when Damage Control walked away, I was like, oh, she's winning the Rumble for sure. It felt like that tonight.
We're going that story of her versus Io, sure, but I'm not buying her winning the Rumble yet. I feel like she needs to have one more like put down before she gets an over, I think.
But that's a mistake you make, John. A lot of times you go, it's not going to happen here. Like, stuff that they're building on TV that I think, like, oh, they're building this for the next pay-per-view. You always go, not this pay-per-view, the one after. And I go, no, I think they're just going to do it now. And you're like, no, wait. And then they just do it now. And I'm like, see, John, I told you they're doing it now. And you're like, well, I guess they're doing it that way. That always happens with us, John. It's happening with the Samoa Joe and Hangman thing and Swerve. I was like, they're going to do triple threat now. And you're like, no, wait. And then lo and behold, that's where we're headed. And then here you're like, no, we got to wait for Bailey and Damage Control. It's not ready yet. Let it simmer a little bit more. I'm like, I think it's ready.
Well, let's remember Brock and Cody. You're like, oh, we can do it Money in the Bank. I'm like, no. Got to let it wait. Wait to SummerSlam. You're like, no, do it now.
Okay.
But no. See, WWE loves to wait. AEW, not so much.
You love to wait. You love pushing things. Delay. I'm like, just do it. Just do it already. We know you're going to do it. Just do it. Stop waiting. I want that instant gratification. Give it to me now.
We got 2 more weeks, so wait and see.
Amazing. Irakukline. Is he a cuck guy? I don't know. On Kick says, 2 grown-ass men talking about fake scripted fighting. You know what's crazy is that this guy is commenting and watching 2 grown-ass men talking about fake scripted fighting. If you like real fighting, if you want to see 3 grown-ass men talking about real fighting, you could watch Ringside Report MMA every Thursday night here on the Ringside Report Network. We do all the things. We talk about the real fighting. We talk about the predetermined professional wrestling, which is not fighting. It's a different kind of art altogether. But you know.
Sometimes the fighting that you just see in like TV shows.
I see Angelo going after him. You have a problem, Iraq line? And it's like, yeah, I think that's funny. I like people that go, you guys are talking about wrestling? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I like wrestling. What do you like? You know? Like, I don't know. I'm sure. Yeah, I don't.
Are we going to this whole like South Park thing again where it's going to be like they're playing Lord of the Rings and the other ones in the corner are playing like Harry Potter? You remember? Have you seen that one yet?
I don't think so. It's all the same thing. You know? It's all like whatever. Like people... I know people that make fun of pro wrestling, but then, like, there's a guy at jiu-jitsu, he's like, he makes fun of me for liking pro wrestling, but he loves, like, Lord of the Rings and shit. I'm like, you're playing with elves and fucking trolls and shit. The stunts that I see are real stunts. Those guys in the ring, they're really doing that shit. It's live shit. People falling off ladders, going through flaming tables. Those guys are really doing that. In the movies, that's not really happening. People watch movies. Those guys don't even do their real stunts. I like to see the guys doing the movies for real. It's like a live play with stunts, athletics. I mean, wrestling is such a cool art form. Anybody that doesn't like it, I just don't get. I'm like, man, it's got so much cool shit in it. Who doesn't like grown men flying off ladders? 2 gigantic jack dudes falling off ladders, going through tables, smashing each other with chairs, doing suplexes, landing on their heads. Tremendous. Shout out to Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. He is our #1 fan. Super chat leader of the night. Who doesn't like pro wrestling, right, John? I love pro wrestling. I find that strange, though, coming on a pro wrestling talk show channel and being like, you guys, you talk about wrestling? It's lame. Wrestling sucks. And I'm like, but you're watching the show of guys talking about wrestling, and you're going through the trouble of commenting on the show that, two guys talking about a thing that you hate, and you're going to comment on it and be like, this sucks. Wrestling is dumb. All right. Wrestling is dumb, but everything is dumb. A lot of shit is dumb, Fucking crazy. I love it, though. I love it. Welcome, Raka Klein on Kick. I hope you enjoy the show. Maybe we'll make you a wrestling fan after all. Maybe one day. Or maybe you'll just watch the MMA part of the Ringside Report Network, which is totally fine, too. You could do whatever you want. But you have to watch.
It's okay.
Otherwise, I'm upset. Makes me sad. Watch something I'm doing. What are you doing?
It's fine. I know Dave has a bunch of friends that don't like wrestling, but I tolerate them for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I got friends that don't like wrestling. I got friends that don't like MMA. And I have, I could find a common ground with everybody. All right? I got friends that don't like MMA or wrestling. And somehow we stay friends. And I go, what are we talking about here? But there's other things that I like, John, that we talk about. Like Dr. Fraser Crane and so on. Anyhow, shout out to Angelo.
Have you seen the new series yet?
I have not started the new Fraser yet. No.
Okay.
I'm still in The Curse, and I believe that the new episode of The Curse is out, the final episode, the finale, so I may go do that right now because I can't wait, because it's the best show I've seen in a very long time. The best show since Succession, I would say, The Curse. So, looking forward to how it all wraps up. Angelo dropping a super chat, says, enjoy the game tomorrow afternoon. Johnny, what game is he talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to the Laval game. He went to the Laval game last night now. I'm going tonight, or this afternoon, actually.
Wow, they play a night game and then an afternoon game back-to-back? That's rough, no?
Yeah, it's rough, but, that's what you got to do when you're in the minors.
They don't do that in the NHL.
No, you pay your dues in the minors.
Why is it an afternoon game?
I think it's scheduling because, for the most, more likely the Canadians are playing at 7, right? So they don't want to conflict sometimes. If they can't or don't have to, it's better.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay. Well, that's good. Enjoy the game, Johnny. I will be watching maybe some AEW, but I definitely have my eye on Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker tomorrow night in the UFC. Go watch our preview for those fights on the channel right here at Ringside Report Network. Go to ringsidereport.net. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Thank you to Harold Schneider and Angelo dropping the super chats. Harold is the super chat leader of the night. And shout out to all the members once again: Angelo, Jimmy James, Antoinette, Ray Cruz, Harold Schneider, Leor, Jason, Pete, and many more over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. I will be back here with Freddie and AJ coming up on Thursday night when we will preview UFC 297, Strickland versus Duplessis. We are a week away from UFC 297 in Toronto, by the way. Big return for the UFC. Have not been to Toronto since before the pandemic. So a big return for the UFC, big pay-per-view in Toronto next week, and we will be previewing it next Thursday here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website.